episode 2?
No. Terrible. All right. Somewhere in here, I've got a start button. It's been a minute since I've heard that. Good evening, ladybugs and yellow jackets. Welcome to this evening's episode of FAE News here on FAE Productions. I'm your host, Fairy Princess Lolly, and tonight is a unicorn night because I feel absolutely terrible. And apparently I'm not the only one. So a whole bunch of us don't feel great today. But I am here with Ion the Leprechaun and Professor Greenman and Raynwulf.
Hello.
Professor, do you have a stalk of celery as your little icon thing?
It is not. It's a leaf.
It's a leaf? Oh.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a celery at my end. All right. And Lord Voivode. And Qamar Bismuth.
Hello.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And, of course, thank you, everybody out there. I see you, Amanita and Cobble and Ingvi. Hello. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, you guys, before we get into it, as you know, this week it's like, subscribe, and bash the bell. Because Applebash is, just like one of those strongman hammers. Just, I have a question about that now that I've said those words out loud.
Go right ahead.
The strongman things at the carnival, where you have to hit that thing and make the little guy go up and try to ring the bell.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a secret trick to doing those?
Yes. Well, I mean, how hard you hit it isn't nearly as important as hitting it straight on, as it turns out, for the ones where the bell rings when you hit it with the hammer. But most of those games have a trick, and usually the trick means that it can't be done. No.
Well, but why? What difference does hitting it straight on have to do with anything?
Oh, well, because of the way the sensor is built. So a direct hit, in fact, is what it takes to make it go all the way up to the top, whereas a powerful hit isn't exactly necessary. But when people swing it to put as much power in as they can, they're less likely to be accurate.
Accuracy over power.
Yep.
Have you ever made the bell hit the top?
Yep.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what did you get?
The glory, I think.
Oh, glory!
Glory.
Oh no! I want to find where there's going to be a carnival, and then I want to I want to descend upon the carnival as fairies. We need to find a carnival, and then just descend upon it.
Our local carnival just ended a little last week or the week before.
So it probably won't be a very good one then for this purpose.
Well, that's true.
Carnival. There might be one down. There might be one down in the Tacoma area, maybe. It'd be kind of fun to do a fairy flash mob at the carnival.
It would be, yeah.
There's it's not a carnival, but there's
Rio.
a fair.
Carnival in Rio.
In September.
Wait,
Bless you.
You guys have one in your area?
It's more of a fair than a carnival. So there's the games, there's the food, there's also the vendors both inside and outside of the buildings. There's the animals people can go and see and pet and whatnot. And then there's also crafters. There's one hall that has like a bunch of why is that not working? There's a hall that has like a bunch of crafters, photos, stuff like that people bring in. This one's been going on for years. It's actually kind of funny because when COVID happened, they didn't have it, but they had a bunch of the food vendors have a drive-through on the fairgrounds, So people basically would drive up and say, they would get a thing like, here's the food that's available. What fair food would you like to order? And it was set up like a drive-through. That was, I think, 2020. No.
We don't know. Like, there's just a whole blur right there in the memory of the world, right? So that's actually kind of cool that they did that. Sounds kind of neat, to be honest. What was I going to say? Oh, I guess I was going to say, when is that? You said it was in September?
Yeah. Let me look for something here.
Because now I'm kind of excited to. Why is this thing up in the corner? What's going on?
Descend upon the east for carnivals and fairs and.
What?
September 8th through the 17th.
Oh, that's sad. Can't do that. 8th through the 17th. Hold on. The 17th. That's a long time. Never mind. I'm like that. I was just for 1 second thinking only that weekend, but the 17th. The 16th and 17th is the. When is that? When is the next event out there, Professor? The one that
16th and 17th.
I think it's yeah.
Man.
It's actually kind of funny because we also have Pig Out in the Park that happens from August 30th through the first week of September, and literally I would say probably 90% of the food vendors there, probably a lot of the merchants will probably be at the interstate fair. So it's like you get a double up of like, hey, I could get twice what I wanted, or hey, I missed you guys, I could at least get the food at that place.
I want to give a quick shout out. What?
Not a lot of fairy people up here, though. Sorry.
Oh, apparently there's a few though, because there was the whole FAE Fiesta out there not too long ago. So, I want to give a quick shout out to tonight's show sponsor, which is Unique Geek Boutique, and accessories, unique jewelry, and pretty much all things that are kind of in the geeky vein for everybody. That is their Etsy store down below, and hopefully they will be at Applebash as well. I know they are planning to be there because I talked to them recently, and they've kind of been working on, I think, some sample woven belts for people when they rank up, so that we can kind of see what they look like with the. I don't know. What do you call the belts? Kind of like you make Ion, paracord.
Yeah, that's the material I use, paracord. Although you could easily do macrame. Not that I ever have.
That sounds terrible. Macrame sounds like it would be scratchy.
Well, I'm not saying it isn't scratchy. What I'm saying is that it's another material that the guy I learned it from uses.
Well, I have a picture of one of the belts because she was telling me that she has done a couple in some different colors, and send me this picture. Let's see, I'll put it up here really quick. So that's one of them. That looks pretty cool, huh?
That does. It's got that continuous stripe throughout it.
Ooh. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, and I just I like how it's like obviously like blue, but also with kind of all the colors. So, like different shades of blue to give it like to change it up. So, that's one example. So we'll see what else is there. I'm very excited though. Like, I'm very excited to go to an event where we don't have to do tons and tons of stuff. Like we get to camp out and just have fun. Although we do have some things. Hey guys, I have an agenda tonight.
It's not real.
It is. It's real. It's
I
real.
don't believe it's there.
It's here in front of me. So I guess I'll start at the top of the agenda then, because here we are, like practically a half an hour in, and I haven't even really started. I did get our sponsors out of the way. I did want to say thank you to our new and upgraded patrons, Winter J and Lindsay Burgess, both you guys for joining the Gentry. Lindsay joined us at the night market, and actually, I think Winter J also was a result there of the last fairy night market, which was awesome. And our next one is going to be the weekend after Applebash. So not this weekend, but next weekend is Applebash. And then the weekend after that will be the Fairy Night Market. And I'm pretty excited about that, actually. So I've been saving trinkets. I have a box that's filled with things that I can bring to the barter blanket, because every year I forget. I get busy with other things. Are you going to actually make it out here, Lord Voivode? That seems doubtful.
It's starting to look unlikely, but there's a few other things I'm looking towards, so I'll keep you updated.
Oh, I'm sad. All right. It is what it is, I guess. How are things going over there then, on your side of the water, Qamar?
A lot better. Our air quality has...
Oh, wait. What?
Oh.
What?
Was it to me?
I said Qamar.
Oh.
I was like about to start talking, and I'm like, wait, was it not me? Like, what's happening here? No, mode.
Come back.
No, they're looking okay. We're just still working on slowly unpacking. I'm doing steps towards my business. Our family's jiving, so we had a lot of fun at the night market.
Yeah, pretty soon you're going to be able to have your stuff out there as well, huh? That'll be pretty cool. I'll be very excited about that. I know that for October, our night market is going to have to happen, like, I think, with our dumb supper. So I don't know how that's going to work exactly, but October has filled up very fast, and I don't know. I guess I'll worry about it in September. It's too far away.
When you're feeling better.
Yeah, I don't really feel very good at all tonight, so I might have to let Ion do the reading. I don't know. I did want to also share, though, a couple of things. Well, one, here's our poster for the upcoming night market, and I think it looks very cool, so happy with that. And also, if you guys haven't done it, here is the Goblin Market quest. And so I would suggest, if you look in the low bar of wherever you're watching from, there should be links to all of our tiny quests. Go do them. They're each worth 20 dross when you do them. And since Applebash is coming up, it is a good time to get those onto your certificates and be able to go claim your dross. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Good time to be able to claim your dross, though, since we have some stuff coming up. So do you guys want to see some of my swag that I got from the Jareth's ball?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
of course.
So as you know, I go there. I go to the Goblin Market there, and we do trinket trading with people. So I got some trinkets, and then some of them I'm going to have at Applebash at the barter blanket. But this is one of the, okay. So this is one that I got. It's like this cool little. It's like an elephant ring.
That's it. You're gonna be embiggened.
Oh boy. I'm trying to get it to focus, but it's, maybe if I cover my face up. I don't know. It's hard to see. Anyway, it's this cute little elephant ring. And then I got, well, this is not really a trinket trade thing, but I got some cool washi tape from one of the vendors that was next to where our trinket trade booth was. I got these as part of a trinket trade, new lollipop necklace charms, so I can make myself some more lollipop jewelry. I'm pretty excited about that, I'll be honest. Well, I do like my food jewelry. So Erwinna, Dame Ocean Mist, she gave me a whole bunch of hand crocheted trinkets and all of these things that I could take to trade, and I traded almost all of them away. One of the things I got though was this in return. It's this cool little hand crocheted leaf. Yeah, and I don't know. I just thought like it was pretty cool that somebody had taken the time to make all these leaf necklaces. And then in here, in this little silver bag. Oh, goodbye, Ion.
No.
I don't know.
Rude.
No, I know, just rude. Yeah. There's this. It's a little token that says 2023 with the picture of Jareth and Sarah on it.
Nice.
And
Hello, Ion.
so you guys may not know, at the Jareth Ball, one of the things they do are not dissimilar to some of the stuff we do. Quests. They do quests, and you can go to a place called the post office, and the post office gives you a quest piece of paper, and then you have to do what is on that piece of paper, and then go back to the post office and get the next part of your quest. And we participate in that as the Goblin Market and as part of the trinket trade and whatnot. And for those people that know what to look for, we have these blinking medallions that we wear, and that those people who are on the quest know what to ask us for specific things as opposed to just doing trinket trades. And so this year, some of the questers were looking for a piece of the heart or the soul of Cygnus, and we had a couple of leftover. So I have a leftover piece. This is pretty cool, and they really had to come and super barter with us to get a piece like this where you could see like the little heart inside. They were trying to collect this in order to keep Cygnus from dying. They were trying to get them all together, as I understand it. I don't often make it very far out of the Goblin Market, so I don't get to usually see the end and what the results are. But this was one of the things that we were doing. Now, I also happen to be, strangely, friends with my Lord Fawn of the Jareth's Ball, and we've known one another for many a long year. And this year we were upstairs in the Royal Lounge, sitting there having a little catch up, and ketchup's not ketchup like the condiment, but we were catching up. Can you just imagine, like, we were having a catch-up session where you're just like just eating the condiment out of the bag.
No,
Love ketchup.
That's a terrible idea.
that is awful.
Yeah. When
That way you could be on the hunts for Heinz.
No.
That was terrible. Not
no.
terrible.
Oh no.
Ion.
Mayonnaise, a lot of puns in here.
Wally.
Tomato, whatever.
I don't think he can cut the mustard. He just does it all with relish.
Yeah, I relish the chance to make a pun whenever I can.
You gotta stop with this cheesiness.
I mean, do we though? So a couple of interesting things happened. There we were in the Royal Lounge having our condiment session, and this woman comes over and she has trinkets to trade, and her trinket is this piece of the chandelier from when Sarah broke the chandelier in the labyrinth, and she collected up all of the pieces and decided to make trinkets out of them. And then she, of course, you know, told us the whole story about how impertinent Sarah was for going to the Goblin Ball, and then, you know, not being disrespectful of His Majesty, and not caring about anything that he was offering her, etc., etc. How ungrateful she was, um, and she should have accepted the offer to marry the Goblin King and become the queen, the Goblin Queen, I guess.
Makes sense.
I mean, after
Goblin
your baby
King.
brother pees on the Goblin King, then maybe. True story, though. That's a true story. Is
Your
that not
baby brother peed on the Goblin King?
no? Toby Froud, when Toby Froud was a baby, Toby Froud is the actor that played the baby in Labyrinth, and in between scenes on set, at some point, David Bowie was holding Toby Froud, and Toby Froud peed on David Bowie. So, you know what? Out with the baby, in with royalty. He hasn't lived a very long life anyway. What's he really missing, right? I mean,
That's right.
like, just think of all the horror that he would have missed. Hurricanes and COVID, all of this stuff. Baby would have just missed it all. So it's much worse to throw out somebody that has a whole life's worth of experiences, as opposed to a small baby which only just has less than a year.
It's the train problem. Baby Simon Froud, or whatever his name was, or Sarah.
Toby.
Or
Baby
Sarah.
Toby
Pick a
Froud or
track.
Sarah.
That reminds me of the have you this I can't remember how long on the internet ago how long ago it appeared on the interwebs, but someone posed a kind of like a fan theory that Sarah wasn't the original Sarah, and that Jareth had fallen in love with a Sarah who also had a baby brother. And this fan theory goes that there have been thousands and thousands of Sarahs and thousands of Tobys, and sometimes Sarah wins, sometimes Sarah loses, and that's how his kingdom gets populated by goblins, because those are all the Tobys that were never rescued, and they were turned into goblins. It's a really cool theory, but I mean, it's also kind of dark too, where
Yeah.
Jareth is just for thousands and thousands of years is trying to find his lost love again and doing all that. It's like, whoa. But it's a really cool fan theory story.
No, it's a great fan theory. It's just like it hits you a little bit in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
And
weird
then-
to think of all the goblins as being just little babies that didn't get rescued.
Yeah, that word rescue, that's the oof,
It's dark.
it is.
There-
But still,
there was-
it's a great story.
There was a period of time where they seriously needed a warning to not throw your baby away with water.
Yeah,
With
I
water?
remember that.
No,
Yeah.
that isn't a warning. That's not a real
It's
thing.
serious advice.
No, it is not serious advice. It's just a saying.
Yeah, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
But that's
Right.
not because people used to actually throw the baby out.
Sure did. Why else would they
No,
have that saying?
Jeez Louise.
And I think he should get to taste test the next food item you get sent.
Absolutely.
I need to
I
send all
certainly-
of you guys. I need to send all of you guys some food items. That way we can all try them together. Now that I have everything and I've got a little bit of bandwidth to put stuff together. I've been working really hard the last couple of weeks, getting like all of the Kickstarter stuff out and things with that, up and going, and just, I don't know, lots of stuff, like, and then doing the show and this, that, and the other. So I do have a couple more things that I want to show you guys. Can I show them still?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
It's your
like
show.
stuff.
So
Be the
one
boss.
of the other things, now, my understanding is that the tickets that are the VIP tickets to this event are, I don't know, somewhere upwards of $400 or something like that. So
Wow.
very, very expensive. What? Very expensive, but there's a lot of production value in the event. So, but one of the things that came with VIP tickets this year was this scroll case.
Oh,
That's
Now,
so cool.
is that like a scroll case?
it is, but it's plastic. It's not metal, but it's still very awesome. But inside now, how I came about this is very fairy-like. I was in one of the, I don't know, places, and the hall, in one of the halls, and I found it on a table, and it belonged to nobody at the table. It was just sitting there, and I had seen people carrying them around all weekend. I didn't know what they were, so naturally I was like, does this belong to anybody? And everybody at the table says, no, it is not ours. And I'm like, okay, well, so I start futzing around with it, try to open it up, right? So I do, I open it, and the end cap just screws off. I've got a couple of things in here, actually, because, so I'll get to this one in a minute. This is what was inside it, and it is so cool. And I left a note on the table, because I was like, this is worth a lot of money. And I left a note on the table to be like, hey, I found this. I'm in the Goblin Market if you want to come get it. But nobody ever did, so now it's mine. And this is like velveteen on the front, and it's all printed up really cool and nice. And it like tells them what they get for this is the 25th anniversary, and it tells them what they get for with the Royal Pavilion and this, that, and the other. It's just very cool. And I wish I knew. It smells terrible though.
You do realize this is how you're going to get a hold of a cursed magic object one of these days. Someone's just going to leave it on a table. You're going to go, oh, look, it's cool. And boom, there you go. Cursed object.
I thought you meant by sniffing it.
I mean, oh.
It's just like, all right, you sniff me. I guess I'm yours now. Here, you're cursed, baby.
Oh, well, shiny. So anyway, this was just like a cool, it was sort of funny because the way I came about it was hilarious. And then when my Lord Fawn saw me with it, said, where did you get that? And I said, a better question is, where is the person who used to own it?
It's okay.
That's very FAE.
Well, So then this is the other thing. So I have this unopened letter. So at the post office, you can write people letters that are on the crew. You can't do it to public people, but you can do it to like staff and crew and whatnot. And this letter was supposed to go to Beverly Jean at the Goblin Market, but we are the Goblin Market. We didn't have any Beverly Jean, so we didn't know who this letter was to. And boy, did I try. You can unembiggen me. I tried to find who Beverly Jean was, but nobody could tell me. And so now I have Beverly Jean's letter. I didn't unseal it, but I did manage to puff it open so I could read what was inside. My curiosity got the better of me.
What if they meant Billie Jean, not
also not part of the Goblin Market. But now a few vendors down the way from us in the Goblin Market were some staff and magic wand vendors, and I did get a magic wand. So from them, hopefully I get to start carrying these in my store soon, because check this out. So it's like it's rather large, but top comes off. This happens. Go like this. Bam! Look at that.
okay, that's pretty.
Yeah, and you can't see it very well. It doesn't look like on screen, but it's like a crackle quartz, and so all the crackles catch the light, and it looks really cool. So I'm pretty excited to actually be carrying these in my store, hopefully soon. I have to reach out to them now that the show is over. This gentleman's name, I think you will appreciate Professor Greenman, because he was another professor. His name was Professor Emeritus. And I thought,
a title, not a name.
no, that I said, what are your guys' names? And he said, I am Professor Emeritus. And I laughed so
You
hard.
didn't call him Ermy.
I laughed so hard at it. I said, how many people get that joke? And he said, not very many. So it was pretty good. What's a magnum wand?
Magnum as in big. It's misspelled.
What?
Magnum.
Like Magnum PI?
Yeah.
But how is it related to the wand?
Because it means big.
It's
that's a
in
big
reference
wand.
to like the Magnum gun.
I had no idea that the word magnum meant big. That it was a word and not like a name of something, like a Xerox.
Technically,
thought
it's a descriptor.
An adjective. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was like if you say a gun, it's like saying a Glock. But a Glock isn't a word on its own, right? It doesn't mean something. I didn't realize Magnum was with like Magnum PI. I thought that was like his name, not. I don't know. Don't act like I'm stupid. I've literally never heard anybody use that word ever.
I'm not
I've never
acting like
even
you're stupid.
read
I really
that
want to
word.
make a joke, but it's not after 8:30 yet.
You had a magnum of champagne.
Oh no, Qamar! I know what joke you want to make. Qamar.
You may know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, since you referenced 8:30, I can narrow it down from there.
I was going to say, though, that wand was, yes, big. So when the magic doesn't work, you can use it as a bludgeon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what everyone was thinking.
In the
Oh, God.
So everybody's like encouraging you to do it.
So does the spell have more power if you can actually get the words out while using it?
Of course.
I feel like when I turned my head and covered my eyes to like recover, more things were said that I just couldn't process. So like the innuendo is just keeping going. Is that correct?
No.
Well, if that's the way you like to use your magnum wand,
it does not have to go innuendo.
Yeah, now you see, now that your birthday has come and gone, we can all make these jokes around you.
It's true.
Freely.
I'm an
Not
adult
that-
baby.
Oh no.
So, not to keep the train going here. Apparently, magnum is derived from the word magnus, which is Latin for great.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
As opposed to what? Big?
Yeah, but that's yes.
Because people think big is great.
That's what the word great means too. All right.
Great
The word
as in
great
large.
does not mean big. Nuh-uh.
But like
I mean,
the Great Wall of China,
like-
the Great.
It does mean big, by the way.
No,
It's-
that means fantastic. It's the fantastic wall of China.
No. No. And older versions of English, great means big.
So Magnum is just big.
No. It's just one big.
Okay, it's just one big.
Just
Thinking of
one
all
big.
the
It's
Magnum.
8:30 somewhere.
It's 8:30 somewhere. I mean, I guess technically, as you like go around the globe, right? Like, even though we have time zones, surely that's just because we have to. There has to be like some delineation without it being like a minute by minute play around the planet, right?
If you just go further east, like towards Greenman and Raynwulf, it'll eventually get to 8:30 in like 8 minutes.
No. Yeah.
We'll roll past it.
Dang, what are you drinking over there?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is my favorite glass, which is just basically a mason jar, and it's actually unsweetened iced tea. What did you
Oh.
think it was?
Mead.
If this was filled up to here, if that was mead, I would probably, you wouldn't be having me on the show.
How do I know you started at the top and it wasn't like three quarters empty already when you started drinking the mead?
True.
See? It's not like it had to be entirely full. But now it has made me extra sad that you're not going to come to Applebash because you are the bringer of mead.
A bringer of mead. There are
A
others.
bringer of mead.
Lord Vovode, bringer of mead.
Yeah, like who? Who else
Well,
brings mead?
Well, Dick Beard.
We're not going.
Well, Dick Beard won't be there this year.
Okay.
But Amalric will.
All right then.
Oh,
So,
which reminds me, Qamar, you probably should. I can't remember if Dick Beard told me Amalric would either do a workshop or help do field games, or maybe both. I can't remember. But
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I said okay because I was gonna say next was, do they need to like reach out to me or do I need to reach out to them? Because I have what I believe are all the workshops so far.
Oh, what are all the workshops? Let's hear it.
So me, Qamar, I'll be running a junk journaling workshop. Then we've got Apples to Apples as a work. You're super excited about that one.
I am. What do we need to bring for the junk journaling workshop?
Oh, it would be epic if people brought epic. It would be super cool if people brought things like if they've got like old music sheets they're no longer using, or scraps of old paper, or even just like fairy stickers, or if they've got just like some more thick paper that can use like it's not construction paper, that's refill paper, but there's like scrapbooking paper. Like if people could bring like, odds and ends, things to glue into the
I might have some spare stuff I can bring if you remind me.
Okay, I'll try and do that. So we've got the you got all excited. I forgot everything I was saying because you were like,
You were saying something about Apples to Apples?
oh yeah, well,
But that's not a workshop. That's a game.
Yeah, Amanita was saying that they wanted to do Apples to Apples. I think that's just something they want to do.
Yeah.
So, but we've got that one. I believe you said something about
Magic potions. I'm going to do
magic potions. And then Ion is doing... I have to check in tonight about... Oh, Ion is doing... Let me find it. I have to check in with Miranda Fairy Artificer from Discord about whether or not she is doing the flower crowns or if she'll be there. Oh, wait.
They bought their tickets.
Yeah, they did buy their tickets. Yeah, I have to actually message them.
Did I guys show you the sneak peek of the pin?
I don't know that you showed us the pin yet.
So I have the prototype of the pin, which I have now ordered. Let me find it and share it with you guys. It's really cute this year. I didn't want it to be the same as all the other years, so well, all the years are different, but
Oh,
look,
dude.
this year we go a little worm.
Oh, it's
That's
so baby.
cute.
It is super cute.
Look at that little guy, so
Look at
happy.
it. Yeah,
He's just happy to be here.
I know it's adorable. So I was like, how can we change it up this year? We'll add a worm to it. That'll be cool. So
Oh, and one more thing. So we've got junk journals, daggers, like I believe there are going to be boffer daggers. I
Yeah.
don't. Potions. We've got. Sorry, my cat is on me. I have to pet her now. So those
And flower
three.
crowns.
We may have flower crowns. Because I know there's supplies are being brought at least, and then we may have a the carnivorous botanicals or whatever. I can't remember.
Yes.
They said they might do a workshop, so I have to message them.
Yeah, you should follow
So
up on
we'll
that
see.
for sure.
That's it.
I sadly killed my plant from last year. I tried really hard, but I always killed them.
We had ours for ages. Oh, that sounded.
I did it. Mine died really fast. I was a terrible plant mom. What can I
Some
say?
people have green thumbs, some people don't. Black thumb is what they call it.
Do we have articles for tonight?
Yeah, we've always got articles.
Ion, do you want to pick some articles?
Yeah, I could do some article picking type things.
I'm not going to
Okay.
last very much longer, so if we're going to do articles, let me look at my
Oh.
non-existent agenda.
While he's looking for articles, this was I did want to pop in something a little off topic because I figured it out. So I ordered a Nerf gun off of eBay and I received it. Ion knows this story. And when I opened up the package, there was this sitting on top of it. I have no idea why. And I told Ion this. And then later I reached out to the eBay seller and he said,
Wait, what? Oh no.
This was in a box sent to me from an order on eBay.
But what's it say?
It's a Goosebumps book.
Yeah, I see that. And then it says Egg Monsters from Mars. Why was this in your box?
Well, here's the interesting thing. So after talking with Ion, I reached out to the seller and go like, "Hey, got the item. It's great, but was this put in by mistake?" And they reached back to me and they said like, "No, I put it in there because since there's a book inside, I can charge the shipping for media mail instead of actual shipping costs because I'm shipping a book even though it's in a giant package with a bunch of Nerf guns." And I'm like, that's actually kind of clever.
Oh, for a second I thought they were overcharging you.
No, not at all. I mean, it was a pretty good price, which compared to some of the shipping prices I've seen on eBay lately, it's
Oh yeah, you
bugging.
could probably just go to a garage sale, buy like just tons of books for pennies on the dollar, and then you will save probably half or more on shipping for doing a book like that. It's
exactly
crazy.
Yeah.
Media mail is so much cheaper than all the other mails that are out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool
idea.
and it's a neat way around it. So, but I wanted to show that so I tell Ion mystery solved.
Awesome.
It's kind of
That's
a good
interesting.
idea. It's kind of a good idea, actually. I'm like,
Well, we were thinking maybe a kid threw the book in so they wouldn't have to do their book report.
Right, like I opened it in reverse, and it wasn't because this was sitting right on the top.
Yeah, I saw that when I clicked onto it, and these are
Terrible.
bigger though. I've been wondering that.
Where does Magnum fall on the scale of like enormous, huge, Magnum? Like where does Magnum fall on that scale?
Well,
soon.
I don't know.
I
You
feel
want to
soon.
look at wine bottles for that answer.
I
Yes.
think I can actually get pretty in depth on this topic now that I've thought about it for 2 seconds. Are you ready?
Yeah, no, but yes.
So you were saying things like, okay, so we've got huge, we've got Magnum, we've got ginormous. What was the other one you said?
I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
I said Magnum. I don't know.
Yeah, so I feel like
Enormous.
huge is like okay, like it's huge, but like you've got Magnum and ginormous. I feel like Magnum is ginormous, but with like style points. Yes. Now shush.
I mean, I couldn't help it. Like, okay, I had to look it up because I was like, I know there's so many more words. So here we go. Colossal, gargantuan. Where is it in relation to gargantuan?
It's much smaller than gargantuan.
Okay, sorry. What did you say? Someone was talking to me.
Gargantuan, but colossal. Where is it in relation to colossal?
No, colossal I think is bigger than gargantuan.
Colossal is bigger because like Rise of the Colossus, I believe, is a video game, and those guys are pretty good. They're pretty big. I mean.
Okay, so colossal, gargantuan, magnum.
Yeah.
Okay, what about humongous?
Well,
that's someone's name. Why would you mention
humongous,
him?
Huge,
Lord
humongous, magnum.
Huge, humongous, magnum, gargantuan, colossal.
Yes.
Okay, now what about cyclopean?
Is that an actual? Are you just making stuff up now?
No, that is not. That is an actual word.
Okay,
That
cyclopean.
involves tentacles.
No, it doesn't actually.
Is cyclopean larger than colossal or smaller than
It's
colossal?
actually much smaller than colossal.
Does it say cyclopean? Doesn't, for some reason, it sounds like a small energy word.
Yep, it's A34.
But it does have one eye, so there's that.
If I'm thinking like Cyclops, it's definitely smaller than like gigantic or huge. I'm not gonna say that.
Cyclopean is smaller than huge.
No.
Oh.
So I feel like huge is the way that I would describe a Cyclops, but when it's Cyclops, you got the one big eye. I would put Cyclopean above huge, but not
as big as gargantuan.
Not as big as gargantuan, and not above, maybe above Magnum. I'm not sure.
What about something that is Leviathan in size? Where does Leviathan fall compared to colossal and cyclopean? Well, since cyclopean's down there, so it's
for me,
colossal and gargantuan.
Because because I hate the sea. I am phobic of water. So I feel like a Cyclops, or not a Cyclops, a Colossal, like this dude's on the ground. He's hecka tall, like so tall. That's the biggest guy we have so far, right? But if it's in the sea, I'm not checking to see how big he is. I'm just not going there.
Even though sometimes they'll just come up to ships that are on top of the sea.
No, I don't go in the sea. No. I don't go in the sea. But he's definitely bigger because the sea it's a lot I would have to say Leviathan sized is bigger than Colossal. Because you can't see the bottom? I don't know. Size fairies? No, Wesley. Size fairies.
Okay.
Can we look at the mythology?
Can we look at the mythology?
That's where most of these words are coming from.
Well, I mean, I know. Like, what would you like to look at?
they're not actually
Well,
coming from.
If you're looking at
I mean-
difference between Cyclopean and Colossus, the Colossus of Rhodes was 180 feet tall.
A lot taller than the Cyclopses, which were the skulls of
Yes.
elephants.
Where the
Yes.
Cyclops was big enough to grab a whole sheep in one hand, so probably about 40 to 50 feet tall.
Probably less than that. Yeah.
Okay.
So am I accurate so far?
Yes.
Okay.
As for Magnum, that actually came from wine bottles.
Oh.
Yes, it's supposed to be a wine bottle that's twice the size of a normal wine bottle.
Yes, but not as big as a Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay. Now, what about this one? What about prodigious?
Okay, that is a size word?
Yeah. It kind of like saying great is a size word, like the Great Wall, like prodigious. It is.
I've heard it used as a descriptor, like he had prodigious strength. Would that
Great strength.
But yes,
Mm.
most of these comparison words do fall back to being size related.
Okay,
be
I'm
a
thinking.
prodigious size?
So where did Leviathan fall on the scale of Colossus and Leviathan?
Oh, I put
It was
Leviathan
big
bigger
enough to
because
take
the
down
ocean
a
is very
180
big.
foot step.
Wait, say it again.
Leviathans were the sea monsters that could sink ships. And
No,
ships
that's
of
a
180
kraken.
foot length.
That's the same thing. It's the same word. It's not the same
Leviathan
word. Same creature being
A
referenced.
Leviathan, a Kraken?
Yes, it's meant to be
Very
the same
similar
creature.
to.
Yes.
Oh, I always thought a Leviathan was supposed to be a whale.
It's
Oh,
great.
A
No,
large animal is basically how it's described.
What about Behemoth?
I feel like
Behemoth-
Behemoth is
Again,
not
Behemoth
as
is
a
big
large
as a...
animal.
Yeah.
Behemoth was probably referencing elephants.
Yeah, I think it's...
I understood that Behemoth referenced a giant ram.
Well,
I think it's still smaller
its
than a...
description follows an elephant better. But okay.
There's so many names being thrown around. I feel like a behemoth is smaller than the one sheep hand dude. That's all you get.
Cyclops.
Yeah, I forgot.
Here it
Basically,
says
what we're
in
saying is size matters.
Wikipedia says Behemoth is a beast from the biblical book of Job and is from the primeval chaos monster created by God at the beginning of creation. He is paired with the other chaos monster, Leviathan. And according to later Jewish tradition, both would become food for the righteous at the end time. Metaphorically, the name has come to be used for anything extremely large or powerful entity. Let's see. It said here, though, that the Hebrew word behemoth has the same form as the plural of the Hebrew noun behema, meaning beast, suggesting an argumentative meaning great beast. However, some theorize that the word might originate from an Egyptian word from the water ox, meaning the hippopotamus, altered by folk etymology in Hebrew to resemble behemoth. However, this phrase with this meaning is unattested at any stage of Egyptian. So possibly a hippopotamus.
Yeah, it's a. I've actually, believe it or not, watched a lecture about this. Hippopotamus is, in fact, one of the possible creatures. It could be elephant. It fits rather closely. Also, rhinoceros fits rather closely.
All of them are very large.
Yep.
Yeah. Apparently, the descriptive of it is behemoth in the Old Testament described as a powerful grass-eating animal whose, in quotation marks, bones are tubes of bronze, his limbs like bars of iron. And apparently he's supposed to fight Leviathan in the Messianic era, and later the righteous will be feasting upon their flesh, which I think you may mention.
So, Do we want to keep talking about this, or should I bring up articles? It's up to you.
She's hyper focused.
I was reading about a talking cat.
From where you were.
Articles are good.
Well, because there is apparently a Russian writer named Mikhail Bulgakov who used a demonic cat with the name Behemoth as a character in his novel The Master and Margarita. And in the book, the cat could speak, walk on two legs, and was part of the entourage of Woland, who represented Satan. Cats are evil? What? No. So, I mean, that's how I got to cat. I just scrolled ahead and then I was sucked in. So, what were we originally talking about before we got on the discussion of how to rank all of the large words?
You had asked me to look for articles.
Oh yeah, articles. All right, what do we got?
All right, so I was going to start with animal theme, if you will. Article number 1. Yoga enthusiasts master the cat pose at kitten yoga session. Article number 2. An otter turned outlaw continues to evade wildlife officials in Santa Cruz. So if you want to hear about cat yoga, press number 1. If you want to hear about a criminal otter, press number 2.
I feel like this is kind of a hard choice. I mean,
It is.
and I don't understand what's meant by cat yoga. Do we mean cats doing yogas? Or do we mean somebody doing yoga with their cat? Do we mean somebody trying to contort themselves in the same way that cats contort themselves?
I don't know, but I assume it has to do with doing yoga with your cat. But it's an assumption that I don't know.
Because cats are pretty limber and can get into some strange positions. So maybe cat yoga is where you humans try to do cat positions.
Well, it has been known that cats can go from solid to liquid and back.
Yeah, they become boneless really fast. Just flopping. Oh man, the timer's almost out, and I only see a tie in the audience. But there's more of you out there than just Wesley and Ingvi. Nobody else has an opinion here. Cat yoga versus outlaw otter. Oh, Cobble has just chimed in. Now I see 2 votes for 1 and 1 vote for 2.
So that means cat yoga wins. Okay. Let's see. I should go ahead and share. Share screen. There we go. Let's see. Yoga enthusiasts master the cat pose at kitten yoga session.
Where is New Delhi?
India.
Is that
Right next-
India?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why they changed it, I can't say.
No, that's cost.
The store that just opened up on the corner.
Dressed in gym clothing and armed with foam mats, a group of yoga enthusiasts gathered at a studio in the south of the Indian capital, for an hour of yoga with a furry twist. Kittens wandered around the sunlit studio, and the sun, words that are hard to say, in New Delhi as the session began. Some resting on the mats as soft music filtered the air, while others stared cautiously at the attendees as they switched between yoga poses.
Curiously.
Yoga involving furry companions is a popular trend around the world, with sessions involving goats and dogs, usually drawing crowds looking to bust stress. We call this distracted yoga, says Mona, who organizes the sessions under the initiative The Paw Hour. adding, people sometimes take breaks from offices to attend our sessions and go back to work. They leave those classes with big smiles. The yoga is self-paced and involves basic stretching to create a relaxed atmosphere to help participants unwind. Kittens weave in and out of the rows of people, sometimes even falling asleep on participants, prompting laughter from the group.
What? Oh no, look at them. They're the little triangle tails. They're so small and cute. I want to do cat yoga.
You can do cat yoga. Just put a yoga mat out and the cats will be there.
Yeah, anything you have interest in, a cat will lay on it.
Yeah. If it fits, it sits. Chandriya Sarkar, a participant, says kittens are what drew her to sign up for the session. There are a lot of dog yoga events, but this is the first time I'm seeing one with cats involved. As a cat person, I simply had to attend. The Paw Hour has teamed up with individual cat rescuers to help cats find homes and to promote awareness about pet adoption. Organizers say they are inundated with requests and queries about adoption at almost every class.
Oh,
This is a class full of smiles that usually ends with happy stories of kittens being adopted, says yoga teacher Sir Bihai.
Serby.
All the kitten yoga sessions held in
She knows.
She knows.
held in Delhi this year so far have seen high demand, says Mona, who also only wanted to be identified with one name. She added that the team is looking to hold similar events in
Bengaluru.
and other Indian cities. So I'm just going to quick pop to this picture again so you can see the cute kittens doing yoga.
So cute.
Do you wonder what the cats are thinking? Like, what are you doing?
Yes, they're thinking, look at all those hands that could be petting me.
Right, exactly.
Which raises the question that if the cat yoga is successful, do they become catatonic?
Well, it certainly helps them avoid catastrophe.
No.
Gets them ready to be on a catamaran.
No. You're trying too hard.
Plan a trip to Kathmandu.
No, you're trying too hard.
well, it's in India, so Catman do it. Wait, no, maybe not.
Okay. Let's see. I have one pick. Let's see.
Molly, are you up for another article?
If
Yeah.
they were doing the yoga,
I might want to
cat
read the next
man
article.
Okay. Article number 1. New Loch Ness search finds underground cave system that could be monster's perfect lair.
Wait,
Article number.
what?
New Loch Ness search finds underground cave system that could be monster's perfect lair.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Number 2, a tale worthy of Poe, the myth of George Battinson and his belfry. So, if you want to hear about a cave that Loch Ness could be using as his lair, recently being discovered, press number 1. If you want to hear about George Battinson and his belfry, number 2.
For clarification on that one, it's referring to a story about somebody inventing, like during Victorian era, where people were really worried about being buried alive, and they have the story of the thing going into the coffin where a bell could be rung in case they happen to accidentally be buried alive. It's a story of the name of the guy is somebody who supposedly invented it.
George Bateson.
Yes.
George Bateson and his belfry. I don't know. Did you start the timer, Ion?
I did.
Oh, you did. Okay. I wasn't looking. Oh no! I super want to read about the Loch Ness Monster underground cave. Silk. Yeah, mommy. What are you doing? Yeah.
It's cat stereo.
Yeah.
So the timer has run out again.
Oh. Oh wait. What do we have? 2 votes for 2.
2 votes for 2. So the Belfry has
Oh.
it.
Okay. The Belfry has it. All right. Give me a second. Let's see. Oops. That's not what I'm looking for. This one.
I'm not sure how long that one is, but I thought it was interesting enough to grab it. So
If it's not long, we'll read the other one. Let's see. All right. Edgar Allan Poe, Terror of the Soul, has just opened it. What's the date on this thing? Is that the date? 10/28/2013? It's like 10 years old. New York's Morgan Library and Museum. The exhibit is part of a larger effort, especially since his 2009 bicentennial, to rehabilitate Poe as a major American writer. More than just a mere teller of lurid and shocking tales. The Morgan's creators particularly emphasize Poe's marked influence on later, highly respected authors in Britain and the United States. Yet, at the same time, any exploration of Poe must delve into his strange and macabre creations. The show's timing, opening just a few weeks before Halloween, is surely not coincidental. The morbid darkness of Poe's writings owes much to his own psyche, but also draws heavily on the cultural preoccupations of his day. The romantic focus on early and tragic death, the horrors of madness, murder, and perversity all reflect very real Victorian fascinations on both sides of the Atlantic. One of the most characteristically Victorian fixations was the fear of premature burial. Its occurrence in Poe is notorious, particularly in his story of that title, The Premature Burial, but it reached far beyond him. Such fears were hardly new to the Victorians, and to some degree, they persist even today. But with medical knowledge hovering between folklore and science and the nature of physical death far from understood, the Victorians seem to have taken the anxiety to new heights. Accounts of this horrifying yet fascinating fear commonly describe the escape coffins, reportedly sold in the 19th century to allow those mistakenly declared dead to save themselves at belfry, a bell mounted on top of a casket with a string running to the corpse's hand within, so that if the deceased suddenly awoke before burial, but in an extremely unwelcome, so that if the deceased suddenly awoke before burial, but in an extremely unwelcome predicament, he could instantly and easily summon help. The striking life story of the inventor, George Bateson, is also often invoked. In 1852, he patents the belfry as the Bateson life revival device. Wow. Rising rapidly to fame and fortune, he receives the OBE from Queen Victoria in 1859. But obsessive fear of premature burial gnawing at his own mind, he designs ever more complex alarm systems for his own coffin, finally insisting that his family have him cremated. In 1868, transposed to 1886, in some accounts, he panics that his instructions will be ignored, douses himself in linseed oil, and incinerates himself. Wow.
It's a bit extreme. For
Yeah, extreme's a
I'm not a
word for
Buddhist.
it.
Positively dripping in Victoriana, satisfyingly redolent of Poe's dark tales, the Bateson story has made many appearances, continuing to feature in popular books, historical websites, and even the occasional news article. Earlier this year, it inspired a prize-winning graphic novelette. Well, what was that? I'm just going to click this really quick.
Auto-immolation for fun and profit.
The Desperate Case of Bateson George. So,
I like my title better.
there's just one problem. George Bateson and his belfry never existed.
What?
Where, then, did this story come from, and why has it been so widely accepted? Well, what's it called when there's like a cultural memory of something, a Mandela effect? The first tale appears in Michael Crichton's skillfully constructed 1975 pseudo-historical novel, The Great Train Robbery. The Magnum Train Robbery?
It's his magnum opus, you see.
Magnificent.
The Behemoth Train Robbery? Let's see. Okay. Crichton excelled in blending reality and fantasy under a pseudo-documentary veneer. In his classic Andromeda strain of 1969, he even appended 4 pages of fictional citations to believably technical books and articles on which his account was purportedly based. The Great Train Robbery, his picture of 1850s Britain, seamlessly blends genuine snippets of historical background, heavily fictionalized fact. The novel is based extremely loosely on a real 1855 robbery, and outright invention. It's often far from obvious which stories are historical and which are Crichton's plausible fictions. Crichton's lengthy asides on the Crystal Palace, the charge of the Light Brigade, or the British reaction to the Indian Mutiny are, for instance, largely factual. Yet other anecdotes presented with equally confident detail and social color are not. For example, when Crichton needs a reason for a sudden increase in railway security, he invents an eccentric gentleman, Sir John Alderston, who fakes a robbery to avoid handing over a precious case of wine lost to a hated rival in a wager. The long, richly detailed Alderston digression even quotes 8 paragraphs from a supposed 1914 biography of the man. But it's all pure fiction, made up to supply a needed plot twist. The scheme by the novel's thieves to circumvent the new security measures centers, in turn, on the Bateson's belfry. One thief is hidden in a coffin, bound for the guarded luggage van. The sudden ringing of the belfry creates confusion and deflects a serious search of the coffin. In another historical digression, Crichton lays out the astonishing tale of Bateson himself, from patent and popularity, including credibly verbose quotations from supposed adverts for the belfry, to OBE, final madness, and self-immolation. When I first read the novel many years ago, I wondered about the Bateson story. Premature burial was a genuine and well-known Victorian anxiety, and the level of detail seemed convincing. But so did the 2 pages quoted from the non-existent biography of the palpably fictional Sir John Alderston. The whole tale seemed somehow just too perfectly Victorian to be believable. Looking about for corroboration, I found no entry for Bateson in the definitive Dictionary of National Biography. Strange for a man of such supposed wealth and prominence. I found him in books on Victorian cultural oddities, but never with any citations to original sources. As the internet boomed, the tale began to appear on historical websites, but again without citations. More disturbingly, no account, either published or online, ever offered any information that supplanted Crichton's narrative or differed from it in any way. Recountings of Bateson's tale always echo Crichton with the remarkable closeness, right down to the specific use of linseed oil in his final self-immolation. Bateson's adverts for the belfry are often quoted in such accounts, but the quotes are always the same as Crichton's. No one ever cites a passage that Crichton didn't. No one ever reproduces an original advertisement for the allegedly popular belfry. No one ever cites or reproduces an original newspaper account of Bateson's highly newsworthy suicide or an obituary. A few online skeptics had also noted these problems. Some, more familiar with the British honor system than I am, pointed out a further fatal problem with Crichton's account. According to the novel's detailed digression on Bateson, he received the OBE from Queen Victoria in 1859, but the OBE was instituted by King George V in 1917. Oh, so it didn't even exist. The story was false. Crichton's intermingling of history and fiction had blurred the line between them, and many had made the wrong call on the Bateson saga. The question then became, why had so many fallen into this trap? Crichton's story is seductively plausible and beautifully captures the Victorian fears immortalized by Poe and other contemporaries. But surely people doing research, even for sensationalist books and popular websites, don't usually look to modern novels as historical sources. The answer finally came when I happened recently upon Jan Bondenson's 2001 book, Buried Alive, The Terrifying History of Our Most Primal Fear, which includes the Bateson story. Again, all the details match Crichton's. No differences, no added information. But unlike most such books, Bondenson's is based on serious research, and it offers endnotes. Bondeson cites two sources for the Bateson tale. The first is Crichton's novel, which in itself is not encouraging. A work of fiction surely should not be footnoted as if it were a work of history. But the second citation is to L.G. Stevenson's 1975 article, Suspended Animation. In the prestigious Bulletin of the History of Medicine, the tale's appearance in such a journal goes a long way towards explaining its wide and often unquestioning acceptance. Following the trail to Stevenson's article, I did indeed find the Bateson story, once again with every detail matching Crichton's account, including the historically impossible OBE. Like Bondenson's book, Stevenson's academic article offers citations. The footnote points to Crichton's then newly published novel and nothing else. In his note, Stevenson mentions many short accounts of the genuine fear of premature burial, which was so widespread in Victorian society, but singles out the recent and somewhat surprising example in a novel published in 1975 by Dr. Michael Crichton. Crichton, of course, was a medical doctor, not an historian. Stevenson's note even quotes Crichton's paragraph on Bateson's madness and suicide verbatim, carefully citing the whole account to Crichton, The Great Train Robbery, New York, Knopf, 1975, pages 191 to 94. Stevenson, in an otherwise serious piece of academic research, fell into the trap. He took Crichton's detailed and credible tale, linked to a very real Victorian delusion, as fact, and he did not inquire further. In doing so, he gave the entirely invented story a respectable secondary source pedigree, allowing others to further cite and disseminate it, without ever checking for a primary source basis behind the narrative. This is a really long article. An error in a secondary source can easily be carried into others, and from there into still others, taking on life as academically acceptable truth, even if nothing lies behind it but a convincing piece of fiction. The same can happen as much more easily with a historian's mistaken transcription, misattribution, attribution, or other error. It's a cautionary tale. You can't assume something is true just because you saw it in print. This reminds me of a Mark Twain quote, which is, "I never read medical books because I might die of a misprint." Bateson resembles the obsessively fearful protagonist of Poe's The Premature Burial, and he was no more real than Poe's creation. Just to add to the irony, even as many have taken the Bateson tale at face value, Crichton's little joke has been staring us in the face all along. For the fictional Mr. Bateson of the fictional Bateson's Belfry died in a fit of madness. Clearly, he did have bats in his belfry. Wow.
It's a
I
long
like
way
to
to go
try
for a joke.
Yeah. I like to chalk that all up to do your research.
I don't think that. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What? Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse.
That's correct.
Wasn't he the spokesperson for them?
Nope.
It was something very similar, but people transposed it.
He was one of the people that were informed about who was going to win, and so he would go to televise the event of people getting the thing. But he wasn't employed by Publishers Clearinghouse. He wasn't their spokesperson or anything. He was just there putting it on TV.
I did not know either of those two things.
And in fact, Kirk never says "beat me up, Scotty."
Yeah, it's always usually Scotty beam us up or something else.
All right.
I guess I never really thought that much of it because anybody could say that, I suppose. I just sort of thought beam me up, Scotty is kind of a generic Star Trek quote. I never really thought it was
But it's not a quote. No one actually ever says it. So they often say things like 3 to energize or 3 to beam up or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of neat how culture and perceptions can be affected by what you read or what you hear, and just suddenly snowballs into things like that.
Sort of like how Darth Vader is often misquoted.
Yeah.
As saying what?
Luke, I am your father.
Luke, I'm your father.
Yeah, he never says that.
I mean,
He says I think he says like I am your father.
No, it's no, I am your father. Because right before that he says, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. And then Luke responds with, he told me you killed him. And he goes, no, I am your father.
Yeah, and apparently
Then Luke says no like that, and it's impossible.
Yeah, and apparently Mark Hamill was told that secret, and only George and one other person knew. So they were like, "Now you know, and if it gets out, we know who told everybody." Because there's a quote by Mark Hamill where they're sitting in the theater watching the first showing of Empire Strikes Back, and it gets to that scene, and apparently Harrison Ford looks over to him to Mark Hamill and goes like, "Did you know about this, kid? I didn't fucking know about this."
Yeah, only Mark do. What's interesting is they often didn't give David Prowse the real dialogue because he leaked the first movie.
Who's that? David Prowse.
The guy in the Darth Vader suit.
Oh.
Whose voice they replaced with James Earl Jones. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
He leaked something. He
did a lot of leaking of information about Star Wars to the press, and so by the time Empire was coming out, they made that change and didn't tell him, and then he didn't have even any of his proper lines in Return of the Jedi.
Because they were going to voice over him anyway?
Yep. Doesn't matter what he says.
Okay, that's funny.
Wow. I wonder what his script was.
Yeah, I've often wondered that myself. I presume it's available. So,
Okay.
yeah, Cobble's right. Prowse's voice was considered too high. So, even though he was a massive bodybuilder. So.
Okay, guys, it is after 9 o'clock, and we I don't feel so great, so I am calling it a little bit early tonight. But I thank you all for being here, and I would remind you, Applebash is next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. So now is the time to start getting the tickets and other such things. If you want to do any kind of a workshop, please contact Qamar. You can find us, obviously in Discord, etc., etc. And also, the new Goblin Market Quest is in the low bar. So go do that and get your dross. And we will soon, this week, our next quest also, Tiny Quest, will be going live. So in addition to the Goblin Quest. So thank you so much, Cobble. And thanks for joining us, everybody. Hit like and subscribe if you have fun with us tonight. And we will talk to you all anon.
Later.
Wax on, wax off. Yeah, I gotta find the end thing. Here it is.
Hello and welcome to FAE Productions. We hope you enjoyed our show with your host, Fairy Princess Ollie. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you had fun with our FAE crew. Don't forget to click that little bell icon to get notifications of upcoming shows. And if you're looking to support your fellow FAE, fly on over to our Patreon, links below.
Did it? Oh!